There's a guy in a school who sits next to a goth girl every day. The guy says, for some reason, nobody ever sits or talks to her in the school. The guy then tries to talk to her and asks her how and what she is doing. The girl then tells him that she is drawing, and the guy says to her that it sounds cool that she can draw. Then the girl asks him if he wants to see the drawing, and he tells her that sure he will see it if she is willing to show him her drawing. Then she shows him the original character that she drew on her page, and then she tells him that this is the original character, and his name is Jack Kurosakisaki. She tells him that the character she drew is hot and dark, and he is a half-demon. She then says that Jack's parents got killed by demons, and he absorbed the demon's power. Then she says that he is very chaotic and loves blood and fighting. Then she tells him that everyone loves her character because he is solemn and nice. She keeps telling him about Jack, but the guy who asked her about it regrets why he initiated asking her about it. Later that day in the school, the guy is leaving the class and the goth girl grabs him from behind. Then the guy tells her to stop following him, but the girl says that she thought they were friends. The guy looks at her and then he tells her that she can follow him to the station. After listening to that, the girl gets happy and she starts to follow him to the station. Jack still regrets why he talked to her. Meanwhile, the goth girl is really happy and she is walking behind him holding his jacket and thinking that he belongs to her. The goth girl says to Tyler, the guy friend she just made, that she wants to say something, and then he asks her what it is. The goth girl's name is Ophelia and she tries to tell him something, but her tongue slips because she does not know what will Tyler say to her after listening to what she has to say. Then Tyler tells her to just say it, and she tells him that she is going to the goth topic after school. Then she asks him if he wants to come too, but Tyler tells her that he is not a fan of stuff like that. Ophelia then tells him that it is okay, and she tells him that she just got a new CD yesterday. And then she asks him if he wants to listen to it. Tyler gets rude and he tells her to listen to it carefully. That's no offense, but he is really not into goth stuff. Then he angrily tells her to just drop it, and after his rude behavior, Ophelia leaves from there crying. She tells her that it is okay and completely fine with her, and Tyler feels bad, so he keeps telling her to wait and listen to what he has to say. The next morning, Tyler is in the sports room and he thinks that he really messed up yesterday while finding something in the closet. Then he sees the goth girl Ophelia comes to see him and she initiates to talk to him and says hi. Then she asks Tyler if he wants to go to the mall, and Tyler gets up and says that for sure he will go with her. After listening to that, Tyler is ready to go to the mall with her. She gets really happy, and then Tyler tells her that they should leave now so that they can pick some clothes out for her. The next day starts and Tyler is leaving. All his friends say goodbye to him. Then Ophelia comes and she asks him if he wants to do something fun today, and then they both go out to drink juice. Then Tyler asks her why she wants to hang out with him, but Ophelia does not understand him, so she asks him again what he means. Then he says to her that she is goth and he is jock and they have literally nothing in common, so why she wants to be with him. Ophelia then tells him that nobody else talks to her and nobody else wants to hang out with her. After listening to this, Tyler gets speechless. And then Ophelia says to him that even he hangouts with her out of pity, and she only got him who talks to her even if it is out of pity. She gets emotional and keeps her head on Tyler's shoulder while he continues to drink his juice. In the sports room, some guys ask Tyler if the goth girl is still bothering him, and Tyler asks them if they are talking about Ophelia. The guys then tell him that they are talking about her and say that she is so annoying and makes fun of her. Then they say that none of the girls even talk to her because she is annoying and boring. Then Tyler tells her that she is not that bad, and the guys laugh at him and tell him to rethink her. The guys say to Tyler that he is their star quarterback and that is why he cannot be hanging out with goth freaks. Then some other guys tell him to get ready because they still must do some practice. Tyler then agrees with them and says that whatever they say they are right, and everyone starts to laugh. Meanwhile, Ophelia is standing right next to the door holding Tyler's painting in her hands that she just made. She drew the painting to thank him because he went with her to the mall, but after listening to their conversation, she starts to cry. Tyler opens his closet and sees a sketch of him pasted there. He thinks about the guys that told him that he is a star quarterback and cannot be hanging out with goth freaks, and then he sighs and closes his closet. Then he walks towards the class while every girl standing there admires him as if they love him too much. When he enters the class, he sees Ophelia sitting alone and drawing something. Then he goes near her and he asks her what is she drawing, and asks if she is drawing the character she made, you Jack Kuro something. Then he asks her if he can see that too, but she yells at him to stop forcing, and he is clueless that why is she angry at him. Ophelia is super angry at him and she keeps yelling at him to stop forcing himself while she is dragging her pen harshly on the paper. Then she tells him to stop forcing himself to talk to her, and then he calls her name to see whether she will tell him that what is wrong with her. Ophelia gets up angrily and then she yells at him and asks him if he wants his friends to think that he is hanging out with a goth freak. Tyler, after listening, tries to explain everything, but she tells him to leave as she wants to be alone. Then she walks away, and Tyler is just clueless about what just happened. Ophelia goes back to her home and lays down on her bed, and it is complete silence. While laying down, she thinks that Tyler does not want his friends to think that he is hanging out with a goth freak and starts to cry. She is really disappointed by him and is very sad about everything that happened today. The next day starts and she is still thinking about everything and she keeps crying. Meanwhile, in the class, Tyler is really worried that why she didn't come to the class S in the school. Tyler keeps waiting for Ophelia, but she never comes to the class. Then the bell rings and he is still clueless that why she didn't appear in the school today. He then walks out of the class and sees some guys coming towards him saying that the movie they saw was wicked and the topless scene in the movie was legendary. Then they ask Tyler how is he doing and make fun of the goth girl. The guy then says that the goth chick didn't show up to school today and laughs at her. Tyler cannot control himself anymore, so he punches the guy who keeps making fun of the goth girl Ophelia, and then he throws him on the floor and keeps hitting him. Then he thinks about Ophelia and stops hitting him for a minute. While hitting him, he thinks about everything that happened between him and Ophelia, and then he says that all of it is his fault. Then one of that guy's friends punches Tyler right in the face because he was hitting his friend. Then he says to Tyler not to touch his friend and punches him again, due to which Tyler falls on the floor. While they are fighting, a guy comes from behind and he shouts at all of them to stop and drags everyone apart so that they can stop hitting each other. Tyler is laying down on the floor and is hurt badly. Then the guy who stopped the fight gives him a hand and says that he doesn't know what happened to him, but he cannot let the teachers catch them doing this. The guy who got beaten up by Tyler says to Tyler that he thinks that he should leave. Tyler, while getting up, says whatever and leaves. All of them start to walk away. But then the guy who got beaten up by Tyler says to him that he can go to that goth girl, and then he tells him not to bother to show up to training anymore. The guy also abuses the goth girl Ophelia, so Tyler cannot take it anymore, and he yells at him that what the hell is wrong with him and says that what is wrong that she wears those clothes and if she is a goth. Then he yells at the guy that Ophelia has been nothing but nice to him, so why should her style matter? The guy says to him that he really does not get whatever he is trying to say. When the guy asks Tyler if he really does not get what is he saying, the other guy tells him that Ophelia the goth girl slept with Mr. Stevens, their professor, for getting higher grades. After listening to this, everyone standing there starts to laugh, and one of them says that he heard the same from some of the girls, and then they abuse her and say that Ophelia is nasty. Tyler cannot digest this anymore, so he tries to punch the guy again. But the guy who stopped the fight earlier stops him again. The guy then says to Tyler that he is sorry to hear that, and then he tells Tyler that he should stop. Tyler tries to hit that guy too, but he stops himself and leaves. While Tyler walks away, one of the guys from behind says that he should take some time off to relax and to cool off. Then he says to him that he is still their star quarterback, but reputation matter. This time Tyler controls himself. Meanwhile, Ophelia at home is sitting on her bed, and then she gets up to destroy the painting she made for Tyler. She keeps destroying it while having a flashback of girls making fun of her. Then she also has a glimpse of Tyler, but he disappears after a few seconds. Then she sees a glimpse of Tyler's hand and she tries to hold it, but it disappears as soon as she gets near it. Ophelia is really upset about everything and she needs Tyler by her side, but he is not here. Tyler goes back to his closet and sees his award-winning sketch pasted there. So he starts to think about what those guys told him, that reputation matters, and he closes the closet and walks away. While walking, he thinks that he is such a moron. Tyler is walking towards the class, but then he starts to run out of the school and hits everyone who comes in his way. Meanwhile, Ophelia at her home is worried that what should she do, and Tyler says while running to wait for him. Some girls are sitting on the roadside cafe eating pizza and discussing the gluten disc that they prevented the world war with it. Tyler runs past them and he keeps running to meet Ophelia. Meanwhile, Ophelia is sitting in her room worried that what should she do. Then someone knocks at their door and rings the bell, so Ophelia's parents open the door to see who it is. When they open the door, they see a guy standing there. Then Ophelia's mom tells her that her friend came to see her. After listening to this, that some of her friends came to see her, Ophelia thinks that she does not have any friends, so it is impossible that anyone came to see her. Then she opens her eyes and imagines that there might be some girls from her school who came to meet her at home to humiliate her. Ophelia's mom keeps telling her that she should come downstairs to see her friend, but she covers her ears and says that no friend came to meet her, as she is terrified that the girls from her school will make fun of her. While she is terrified in her room, Tyler calls her and she understands that it is Tyler who came to see her. Ophelia starts to walk towards the door while thinking about everything that Tyler does not want his friends to know that he hangs out with a goth freak, and she says that Tyler should be better off without her. Then she gets up from the bed to open the door and she says that Tyler just hangs out with her just out of pity, and then she manages to open the door by pushing her limits. Tyler enters the room while holding her pen that she left in the school, and he tells her that he is here to give her that as she forgot it at the school. Then he tries to say something to her, but she falls on the floor because she feels dizzy. When Ophelia comes back to consciousness, she sees that her parents and Tyler are standing next to her. At first, she sees it all blur, but then she sees them all clearly, so she gets up and shouts Tyler's name. Then Ophelia asks Tyler what is he doing here, and her mom takes her dad out of the room so that they can talk without hesitation. Tyler tells her that he came here to give her the pen back that she left at the school. Then Tyler tells her that he came here because he was worried for her, and after listening to this, Ophelia feels shy and she gets speechless as it is the first time someone is worried about her. Tyler takes Ophelia on a walk, and every girl out there who knows him feels jealous as they are not the one with him right now. They both are walking silently, and Tyler thinks that even though Ophelia's parents suggested that they should go for a walk, but he thinks that it is too much. Meanwhile, Ophelia is also worried because her heart rate is rising while she is walking with him and she cannot understand why it is happening. Then she tells herself to calm down as she thinks that Tyler is only taking pity on her. While walking with Tyler, Ophelia thinks that it is not real and she thinks that he is just taking pity on her and he does not care about her. Then she calls Tyler and says thanks to him for worrying about her. Meanwhile, she thinks that Tyler is here because he just feels bad for her. Then she says to him that it is okay if he does not want to talk to her anymore, and says that she gets it as it's silly to assume that he really cared about her. Then she says to Tyler that he just asked about her drawing to be nice and she chattered her ear all day long. Ophelia then tells him that she was so excited that someone finally wanted to talk to her. And then the pencil slips from her hand when she thinks about those girls at school bullying her again. When her pencil slips from her hands, she says to Tyler that she is just ruining his reputation. Then he says to him that even if he feels bad for her, she tells him that he should go. Tyler tries to comfort her, and he tries to hold her, but Ophelia smacks his hand and tells him to leave. Tyler then tells her that he doesn't even give a about his reputation, and then he tells her that he cares about her and he just doesn't pity her. Then he tells her that he enjoyed when she used to follow him around, and he says that he wanted to see her every day. Tyler tells her that he doesn't really care about what others think anymore. Tyler calls her name and then he tells her that he really likes her. Then Tyler bends and picks up the pen that slipped from Ophelia's hands, and he tells her that he will not leave her alone anymore. Tyler tells her that he loves her no matter what and then gives the pen to her. After listening to all this, Ophelia feels really emotional, and then she hugs him tightly and she starts to cry even louder. They both keep hugging each other for a while. The next morning, Tyler and Ophelia go back to their school, and Ophelia grabs Tyler from behind as everyone is just staring at them. She keeps walking behind him, and then Tyler holds her hand in front of everyone and then looks at her with love. When Tyler holds Ophelia's hand, she cannot control her emotions, so she hugs him tightly in front of the whole school. And then she asks him if he has practice after school today. Tyler tells her that he has practice after school. And then Ophelia tells him that she will come to watch his practice session, so Tyler says that it would be awesome.